left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Desktop audio.
Is it on?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll find out. If someone's like, I can't hear Nate, then we'll know. All right, so this is Two Fat Guys Pull List, episode 50. Big 5-0.
Nice.
Holy shit. We've been doing this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're just going to just say it right now. This week was kind of meh. You know, it was a little meh. So if our reviews are a little short, if this show's a little short, it's because this week was really kind of just blah. It was gray. It just wasn't it. It's working good, Patty says. Good, welcome, Patty. I'm glad you're here. But let's take care of some business before we start the show. Two Fat Guys Pool List Mystery Pool right here in front of you, the monthly comic subscription service that we have, which is sponsored by Collected Comics and Games and Brainy Comics. It's our LCS here in the DF Dubs. What up, Mike? Yeah, so this is a monthly comic book subscription service. If you haven't heard it before, you know, we're partnering with our comic book shop to just kind of give them some support. You know, we do buy our comics there, but we want to see if everybody else wants to support our LCS just because we're greedy like that. So, what do you ask what it is? Well, you get one store exclusive in the box, which is this Wonder Woman Black and Gold, issue number 1. And I can't remember the name of the artist. You know it better than I do.
Carla Cohen.
Carla Cohen, which is it's pretty heavy. And then you get 4 to 7 back issues consisting anywhere between bronze, silver, and modern age books, and a chance at one big key book, which is this 9.8 CBCS graded Barbaric number 1, the Tone Rodriguez variant. This is a store exclusive with Ron. There are only 500 copies of these, and you will be eligible to win this one. So if you buy a box before the end of July, you have a chance to win this bad boy. So that is the mystery pull box. I'll show the exclusive cover one more time in case you didn't see me holding it up. It's a pretty sick cover. So everyone will be getting one of these if you do order the July's box. One last piece of business before we get on to our very gray week of pulls, and that is we're in the middle of a Milestone Giveaway. So if you're not already subscribed to this show or this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, because we're trying to hit 500 subscribers, and then we have a 1,000 subscriber goal too, but we'll get into that when we get there. But at 500 subscribers, we're giving away the CGC graded 9.4 Wolverine number 1 from his original first ongoing. This book is flying right now. We got the customs CGC label at the top too. So if you're watching this live or you're watching this as a past episode and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We'll give you premium content anyway, but then you're entered to win that. So I mean, it's a win-win. So anyway, that's the biz. Let's get on to the show. And like we said at the beginning, this week was kind of blah, so our reviews might be a little just meh. Just because it just really wasn't. This week really wasn't. There wasn't anything that was really popping. I was talking to you before the show, like, you know, what's your pick of the week? And you're like, I don't have one. And I'll be honest with you, the more and more I think about it, I don't know if I can give one. I'm like, I think this is mine, but it's the only one that I was really enthusiastic about. But I don't feel like it deserves the mantle of pick of the week because it just was okay.
Right.
So I don't know. I might push the button. Who knows? But as of right now, I don't think I have one. But
all right, let's get it started. I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
All right, we're kicking it up with Excalibur number 22.
Push the button.
Oh my god, you did it right off the bat.
Yeah, I thought about it. It took me a little bit, but I thought about it and was like, okay, I know this book this week was a little bit lame, a little bit lackluster, a little bit meh, but like, let's just like, what did you have the most fun with? What stuck out in your mind? And this one kept popping up. So
okay,
this is getting pick of the week, not because it was a blowaway story, but just because I had a lot of fun reading it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think this was the strongest X book this week. Which isn't really that hard to do this week. But that being said, Teenie Howard, I think we talked about this at lunch the other day during the week. We feel like she's really being allowed to like tell the Excalibur story she's been wanting to tell now that the Ten of Swords event is over, now that Hellfire Gala is over, and we're really like diving deep into Otherworld, which personally I know nothing about. So it's like she's really mapping it out for me personally.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it in the grand scheme of the Marvel Universe, but just with it being involved with English lore and mythology and, you know, Merlin and, obviously our spoiler at the end, King Arthur, and, that's the thing that I think I was most intrigued with. And honestly, it was that we were able to tell a full story that we just didn't need to know what else was going on in the X world. It was refreshing to just be like, hey, this is in Otherworld and this is what we're doing.
So it breaks down to basically they have Beast in Otherworld collecting samples of the ground, and there's something going on there. I think that's going to be a deeper issue later on down the road. But we meet one of the head of the regents who's getting ready to snipe him, who actually I think is one of the coolest. I don't remember her name, but she's got like a sniper rifle. She kind of looks like a cooler version of Carmen Sandiego. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah.
She kind of looks like that.
Yeah. She looks like the female version of the Western Ghost Rider to me.
Okay.
That's what I think of.
Well, so she's scouting him out. She takes a shot, kind of like a warning shot, tells him, you're messing with some shit that you may not want to mess with. But I'm gonna keep it chill. I'm gonna let you go because I'm intrigued with y'all. But that being said, there are other people within Otherworld that don't like you. And then enter Merlin. And dude, Merlin's on something. Like he's clearly that's clearly not. I mean, I don't know. I do not have any experience with Marvel Merlin, but I would assume in the comics that I've read that he's been fairly accepting, I guess is the right word.
I think the unfortunate thing with Marvel Merlin is that he is what the writer wants him to be at that time. And so I haven't read any of the old school original Captain Britain or Chris Claremont Captain Britain or Excalibur, but I think he is at times used as like a dedicated ally and a straight up villain. So I think it just sort of is whatever people want him to do.
I feel like I encountered him in either Avengers, most recently in Avengers, or in Captain Marvel. Someone talks to him. Yeah, and he's like super chill and like, this is what you need to do. So in this, he's just like, fuck mutants. Like, get the hell out of my realm.
Right.
And, what happens in this, what's on the cover doesn't necessarily happen, at least not yet. But they try to break into Merlin's jam to, I forget what they're trying to get. Like he's hiding something, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is now.
He's hiding some kind of, I don't want to say it's material, but it's something like that. And Merlin catches him, and it's before he can catch him. Richter gets them out, and the big reveal is he has King Arthur like mind wiped in a cage, and so he's resurrecting his memory essentially. And that's another place where I'm like, I don't know what the significance is of that. I'm assuming it's pretty big to have it at the end of the book. But I did enjoy this issue. I think, like I said, this is the strongest X title this week, and I feel like it's because Teenie was allowed to really just play, just not worry about it. Yeah, not worried about Hickman's plan. I mean, not that that's a hindrance. I don't think it is, but I think this is finally like, we're finally getting the master plan, the master game from Teenie Howard and Excalibur now, which I feel unfortunate for a lot of people that, dipped out 5, 6, 10 issues in. That's a lot to go. I get that, but I have thoroughly enjoyed Excalibur, and I thought this was a home run.
I also think, I think this is going to be one of those titles that will be looked on much more fondly post collected series.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll read really well together at once. So.
I would agree with that. I know Harold's got some issues with it, and I really respect. We say this every time we talk about our X books, but I really respect his opinion on these things, just because he's so damn knowledgeable in X-Men and Marvel in general, and he's just a freaking awesome comic book channel to watch. But I know that he has his reservations towards Excalibur, but I think it's because he's so well versed in the original books, and like he just knows so much. So this is such a complete breakaway from those books. But for us as novice readers, I'm digging it.
Deal.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I'm not like completely on the floor going like, what the hell? I enjoy it. But hey, cool. I'm glad you picked it as a pick of the week. That might give me some motivation to pick a book. I might be the one that I talked about prior to the show. It might not. We'll see.
All right.
But cool. So this is Nate's pick of the week.
Nate's pick of the week.
Nice. Stamp it. All right. Next up on the X books, we have Way of X number 4. I didn't not like it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it wasn't bad. I thought the story with Lost was kind of cool. So the story starts out with Legion and Lost and Kurt on Mars, or I guess, just being referred to as Morocco now. And Lost is basically telling a story, basically symbolizing like her journey of like, someone drove her dad crazy and he killed their family. She went away, and while she was away, her people prospered. And when she came back for revenge, they told her no, that past sins should be forgiven. All of this is an allegory for something that Fabian Cortez did to her. Right. And so, that it's interesting to get a little bit more backstory into this character, but with this book being almost over, I just don't know if it's really going to mean anything.
I really think that's the hindrance of it, to be honest. The fact that we know that it's almost over, and it's almost over, but the next book that's preceding it is like a sequel, right? Or like the next chapter in what Spurrier wants to tell. I think it's the logistics of it, I guess. I don't know what the right word is, of it just changing the title and its theme that I think is most disappointing, because when Way of X was announced, we were both like, holy shit, we're finally getting the mutant religion, and this book kind of like started to go in that direction, and then it was like Onslaught, and that's an awesome reveal. I'm super pumped for it, but I guess I want more of a grandiose design and history lesson about like the White Tower that's on Krakoa that was in Hoxpox, and we knew that Nightcrawler was going to be a part of that religion. I'm waiting for the tarot cards to be coming into it at the beginning of Hoxpox, which the Tower was one of the cards, and now it's kind of like we're just let's put that aside. Legion's here, let's deal with Onslaught, and that's not a bad thing, but I just feel like we kind of were misled.
Yeah.
It just feels like halfway, or not even halfway, 2 books in, and they weren't released at that point. They were kind of like, let's change the direction because we're moving somewhere else. And I feel like that might actually gain some credence to the this whole idea of Hickman wrapping up sooner than we thought. I don't want to be that person. And
I don't think that's...
I hope that's not it, but it's kind of edging into my brain with this book, just because of like what we were told the way it was going to be of this book. But the biggest oh shit moment in this book was essentially Legion trying to figure out what Onslaught's main goal was, and in doing so, he actually got him to come out of hiding because he knew his father couldn't let go. He couldn't not find out who Legion was pursuing. And so we have this scene where Legion is talking to Professor X, and he's, Professor X is, hey, so who's the guy? What's the big threat? And he goes, I really can't tell you, because if I do, he'll show up and he'll kill everybody. And then Professor X does what he's going to do. He taps into Legion's mind. Boom. Onslaught shows up.
Again, completely like blowing past the trust of his son. How he literally just did that. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't trust you. I thought you were the bad guy, but I should do better. And then Legion's like, okay, yeah, so you can't know who the bad guy is. And Xavier's like, fuck you, I'm gonna know, dude. And then it's just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's
like,
so quick. And then Onslaught shows up, so Legion has to mind blast everybody. And he kills everybody in the bar. So Resurrection Protocol is about to happen again. And luckily this happens prior to Inferno, because we all have our theories about what's about to happen in Inferno. So get your Resurrection coins submitted now, because I feel like that's going to be taken off the table fairly quickly.
Yep.
So we get that. And then, yeah, the Fabian Cortez storyline was good, but it felt out of place in my mind. It just felt... I was more interested in Legion, and, you know, because at the end, the big reveal is he's fusing a Krakoan gate seed into his mind.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that, honestly. It was the way that it was happening was very obscure, because he's using those two guys' powers who I don't really even know what their powers are.
Well, one of them is actually, he was in Hoxpox. He was with Rasputin at the end of the Ninth Life. He's the one that he can basically, when he takes his mask off, he creates a black hole and kills everybody.
Okay.
So that's, I guess he's got some kind of reality warping power in that sense.
I gotcha.
But this book felt incredibly... It feels like we're just going 0 to 60 really fast, and we're just jumping over like what really intrigued us with this book. And so the oh shit moments were awesome, but I'm with you. Like at the end when Legion is fusing a Krakoan seed gate into his brain, I wasn't disappointed in it. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. So I really hope in 5 we kind of slow down a little bit and like really explain what the hell's going on.
Right.
And maybe that's by design. Maybe Spurrier's doing that by design.
Could be.
I don't know. So that's Way of X number 4. All right, we're out of our X books. We'll get to X Corp in our honorable mentions. And now we have Thor, number 15 from Donny Cates. You know, I know we don't have Nick Klein on this book, but I wasn't as disappointed with the art as I thought I would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the art had some good moments.
For sure. And I think...
Like this splash page.
Oh my god, yes. That was so fucking cool. Yeah. My issue with the book is I feel, outside of certain little, accents here and there within the storytelling, I feel like the story's been told before, right? Like...
yeah. So...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to honestly not go off on it, because when I first... Well, I mean, whatever. It's a comic book. Donnie tried his best, but I read this book and I honestly was like, what the fuck? Because one, we just did this. I mean, we have been doing this like, oh my god, I'm losing the hammer. I can't pick it. Oh no, wait, no, I can't pick up the hammer now. And like, okay, wait, oh wait, now I can't pick it up for sure. Okay, no, it's just kidding. I can. Okay, and I've got these daddy issues, and I'm not really the king of Asgard. I just am entitled, but not in honor. And no, look, well, this big thing I did. I'm the honorable king now. Actually, no, I don't have any confidence anymore. I'm not the king. And it's just like, we've done this 3 times in 15 issues, and not to mention Jason Aaron did all of that too.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at. I felt, I haven't read the Jason Aaron issues. That's why I was deferring to you in that sense, because I feel like, with the Jane Foster as Thor, and the future Thor,
we just did. Yeah, I mean, Thor was unworthy of his hammer, or was rejected by the hammer for like 5 years. I feel like that's something you don't touch again for like 50 years, because it's just, I mean, you don't. Why? It's just one of. It's like that's like. I don't know, killing Steve Rogers again. It's like, okay, we already killed him and he's back. So like, why are we going to keep killing him and back? It's like, all right. It's just, I don't know. It's,
yeah.
And to me, it was the thing that was the most frustrating is I don't understand what the point, like what was, I don't know what Donnie was trying to convey here. Like, is he trying, like, is it his lack of confidence again, even though he's gained it twice? Is this like, obviously, like, something is like, oh, I got to resolve something with Odin because the next issue is them two squaring off in a bar. Is what the cover of the next issue is. But like,
I mean, the way I'll connect the dots, I think there's two things, to be honest. The main thing, well, there's the two things are, and really it's one thing, but I think it's, and again, we're not getting that connection. You know, I feel like Donnie's, I don't want to be overly critical, but I feel like we're trying, like, he's leaving it up to the reader to interpret where we're going, and then at the end it's gonna be like, and here's everything, and hopefully it sticks, and it's like, oh, so if I go back and read, this is what this was, right? And some people can say that that's an awesome way of telling stories. Damn, talk, James. Or it's a sloppy way of telling stories. Whichever side of the fence you're on, great. I think the reason why, outside of the Hammer, in this issue, the Hammer disobeys Thor and attacks Captain America in this book. So like, right. the cover is not a red herring. This actually does happen, and it's not Thor attacking him, it's the Hammer attacking him. Outside of that, I really think what he's trying to set up is Thor has already seen how he's going to die with the Black Winter, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. And I think that ultimate revelation that blew us all away, that we're all waiting for to see how we get to that point, like, I feel like this is the midpoint in the show, where it's like we're starting to figure out, okay, so when is Thanos coming? When is Thanos going to have the? I know. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's the best way of getting there.
No, yeah. I mean, I think what you're saying makes sense and is probably the most logical answer. The problem with that is you have to reference that in some way.
Yeah, agree.
You got to have him going, oh, like he's having a brain freeze or something, and it's just like a quick panel flash of that Thanos panel, and then that's it. Or, something like this, some type of thing that ties continuity together, or else it just makes you go, wait, what?
Yeah, no, and I think what I'm fearful is that we'll never get that panel, right? And then we'll get the revelation that it's the Thanos thing. And then someone on Twitter will go, well, what happened? He's like, oh, well, it happened, in issue 6. That's when it happened. Like, that's the disconnect. But there was never, like you said, that panel or that copy box that said, oh, knowing my end is I feel like is why the reason why Milnor is leaving me. Right. So that's, again, Thor goes to Earth. He has a conversation with Thor, or with Captain America, and basically is saying, I am no longer worthy of the hammer, in my opinion, because I am now the king of Asgard. So in theory, I'm no longer the tip of the spear. I am not the warrior that Asgard needs me to be. I need to be king. Bah, right? And so he's assuming that the hammer is making that choice for him. Now, we'll see if that comes to fruition in the next 2 issues. It remains to be seen. Outside of that criticism, yes, the artwork is actually really good in this book, and I will say the dialogue in the book, the actual writing, like between characters, Donnie still has that good voice. Like, I think he does, in my opinion. Like, I don't
agree. I think you totally missed the voices here.
Oh, I thought the dialogue between Thor and Cap was really good, in my opinion.
He literally has Cap say an awkward buddy euphemism like 4 times, like bud, chief, pal. Like, every panel it's like, it's okay, bud, it's okay, chief, it's okay, pal. And it's like,
well, see, the reason why I like that, the reason why I like that is because I feel like it's a swipe at, and this is my interpretation, but I think it's a swipe at Age of Ultron, Captain America, where when people were cussing, he's like, language, everybody language. And like, dude, it's a PG-13 movie. We can say shit more than once. Like, give me a break. I could be totally wrong in that interpretation, but I didn't. Let me say it this way. There are a bunch of books this week where the writing is just like absolute dog doo-doo. And so this was okay. It was decent compared to some of the other books that we read this week. So you know, I was.
Sorry, I just looked. He calls him pal and big guy twice each. Says, yeah. Okay, big guy.
All right, guy. All right, my dude. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I just think with the first 5 issues or even into the previous arcs, like you just have these in between issues are just kind of, they're very vanilla, they're very gray compared to like the Donald Blake thing that we just read, which was actually really good and we were both very surprised with it, or even the Black Winter, like that shit was nuts. And then this is just kind of like very vanilla Marvel, and we don't know what the reason is. Like maybe it's just the wind up to get to the next big arc, because on Twitter Donnie's like, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like people are asking him questions about Thor and he's like, get ready, just get ready, so I'm gonna keep that faith. But yes, this is definitely lower Donny Cates and Thor book. Like it just didn't feel like a Donny Cates Thor book. It felt like I got to get some filler in, which I understand that. Like you're getting ready to embark in that when it comes to like anime. Like you'll read something or watch something and then there'll be a filler arc and you're like, what the hell? What do you mean you're fighting flowers? Like it happens. I'm just, me personally, I am not used to that happening in American comic books. Like I thought it was very like, here's the arc, there's no filler, and we're coming to find out that there is sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Thor 15. What up, Blueby? How you doing? Next up, we have Spider-Man Spider Shadow number 4. This was almost my pick of the week. It was so close. But I have another one. That being said, this was a really fun issue. So essentially what we have in this issue is the what's the tower? What's the Fantastic Four tower called?
Baxter Building?
Yeah, the Baxter Building is covered in symbiote goo. Human Torch wants to kill Peter.
Reed?
Reed Richards. Reed? Yeah. Reed was consumed by the symbiote suit in the last issue. So Spidey's trying to break in and save him. The problem is the symbiote suit now is connecting itself to other people and like basically creating a hive mind to entice him to come back. So in this issue, I get very... the reason why I didn't pick it as my pick of the week is because it feels, and I don't know if it's on purpose or if it was written before Donny Cates' King in Black issues, but it feels very Null-y.
Got it.
The symbiote is tapping into several people to become stronger. And like that's the exact same thing that happened in King in Black, except we're never introduced into some like entity. It's all the Venom symbiote. It's just him. And so he's just trying to what the Venom symbiote is trying to do is it says what it's trying to do is protect the entire Earth. It's trying to create a society where no one, everyone will be safe, right? But he's doing it in a very violent way. So essentially Peter is trying to break into the Baxter Building to get to Reed. This is where it gets kind of like King in Black. He goes into the building, and before he goes in, he's confronted by, I believe it's the Avengers, and like Mary Jane and Invisible Woman and Human Torch, and they're trying to figure out how to get in. And immediately Spidey's like, "Hey, why doesn't the Human Torch use his flames?" And they're like, "For some reason, it's not working. Like, it's being resistant to fire. So like already the symbiote is not weak against fire." So when they break in, it's supposed to be just Parker and the Human Torch, but Mary Jane goes in with them. She's like, "You can't do this alone, no." And so they go in, and they find people within the building who are being controlled by the symbiote. They're like half dead zombies. They're just like, ugh. And so she goes up to one of the guards, steals one of the guns, and they continue through the building. Well, as they're going up the elevator shaft, the Thing, who is consumed by part of the symbiote, attacks Spidey and is like, he's waiting for you. So like immediately I got King in Black vibes, and I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? So they fight. They finally get to Reed, And what the symbiote did was it used Reed Richards' intellect to find out a way to become fire resistant. So it's using Reed Richards to become stronger and take care of its own weaknesses so that it can actually achieve the goal that it wants to do, whatever that is. And I'll just show this panel right now. Like, this is what Reed Richards looks like as a symbiote. He's like built himself a suit, and he's just kind of scary looking. And before Spidey and Human Torch can take it out, it like launches a blast off the building, and at the end of the book, the big reveal is all the Avengers are now they have been corrupted by the symbiote. So, and they're coming to attack Spidey and the Human Torch. It's very King in Black. Like, it feels very King in Black. So I wasn't necessarily surprised by the story. I liked it. It was really cool, but I feel like this issue should have came out prior to King in Black. If it would have been, I think it would have made a bigger splash in the story.
Right, I get that.
But that being said, it's a cool what if, and I'm still really digging this whole idea of what if issues being a mini series rather than one issue. I think it really helps. I mean, obviously it helps comic book sales, but at the same time, like, I like getting a story that's more flushed out rather than a 48-page what if issue, which I've read and I think they're fun, but they feel very like things happen very quickly within each panel. Whereas you get a lot of build-up in this one. So I'm really digging it. I think Chip Zdarsky in general is having a really good time writing this, and I completely applaud it. Calvin, weird to have this story so close to King in Black event. I totally agree, and that's why this isn't my pick of the week. It was for a minute, but then after I ended it, I was just like, this doesn't feel... it feels like it's on the coattails of King in Black, which is kind of a shame. Yep. So that's that. Next up, we have War of the Bounty Hunters from Star Wars. I'm gonna let you...
Nope.
Nope. You didn't read it?
I did. So we're gonna cover War of the Bounty Hunters, and then this week's Bounty Hunter tie-ins Dr. Aphra at the exact same time.
Okay.
I want to hear your opinion first. You'll understand why after I start.
So you want to understand my opinion of it?
I just want to hear. Just give me your opinion. We don't need a synopsis. I'm just curious. How did you feel about the issue?
I liked it.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't... I'll tell you this. I didn't like it more than the Alpha in issue 1. I really enjoyed Alpha. I felt like this one, it was just a lot of buildup. You know, reasons why we're here at this gala, what the Crimson Dawn's plan is. And I actually kind of saw the ending coming. You know, because everyone's bidding on Han Solo's body, right?
Right.
And they're throwing out $1 million credits. Now, I will ask you this. Who is the character that's with the Empire that's, I guess, Force sensitive?
I am not familiar. She is in... Huh?
I didn't know what that was. I didn't know. I thought it was a Sith. That's what I thought it was.
I honestly am not sure. I believe it's a she. I believe she is mentioned in some Dr. Aphra stuff, but I think it's from this series, and so I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's a fairly new character.
What I'll say is this. While reading this issue, I felt like the idea of, wait, why are we doing this, kind of caught up to me, right? In the first two issues, it was action. How is Boba going to get the body back, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at this, and the entire time I'm reading it, I'm thinking, so how does this fit into Empire Strikes Back? Or not Empire, Return of the Jedi. How does this fit? Because you've got all these new characters, and then they're all gone by the time we get to Return of the Jedi. Well, that makes sense, obviously, because this was never an idea prior to that movie happening. But the whole point of this series is to, like, bridge that gap. And I feel like we've thrown all of these players into an original story within a time frame of movies that we all know and love. And this is the first time I've read War of the Bounty Hunters, the main title, where I'm like, this feels kind of forced. Just a little. Okay. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you that this is the weakest of the 3 that have been out so far. Out of Alpha 1 and 2, this is the weakest. The art in this I think was really good. I really enjoyed the art in this book.
Oh yeah.
So the book starts off with you seeing Kira getting ready for the party that is Emilia Clarke's character from the Solo movie. See her getting ready. You kind of see a little bit of conversation between all the Hutts. You've got that really awkward ripped 12-pack Hutt here. Jabba the Hutt is here. And then you see basically what this book is. Between issues 1 and 2, we had all the tie-ins, and it was basically showing you how all the players are getting to this ship, where the Crimson Dawn is, where Han Solo is, where this bidding is going to happen. And it was really cool because it's like, hey, it shows you how all these branches are coming together. And then the first half of this book is showing you how Boba Fett got here, because he's the only one that's not featured in another book. So like, you see how Darth Vader gets there with Darth Vader book. You see how Dr. Aphra gets there with her book. You see how Leia gets there with the regular Star Wars book. So the first half of this book I thought was cool. It was fun. It was, a little bit of build up, but I understand that it's an event. You got to do that sometimes. And there was a cool little, back and forth between Bosk and Boba Fett. That was fine. Now here is where the whole thing crumbles for me in a big, big, big way.
Okay.
What's the one thing I've been saying about the tie-ins so far? What's the general consent? That they're good, right?
That they're good.
That they make sense.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'm in school.
Dr. Aphra, there's a reading order in the back of all these issues. It tells you to read Dr. Aphra first. I did. Dr. Aphra's a great issue. It shows her and her partner showing up on the ship and all the things they do on the ship. That also happens in this book. And it's word for fucking word the exact same. It's exactly the same. And I mean literally bubble for bubble the same. The art is obviously different because it's 2 different artists. But I'm pretty sure that they're the Charles Soule writings in this book, or they're the Alyssa Wong writings in this book.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And I don't just mean the scenes with Aphra. It's all the same except for the 2 panels that has Boba Fett. So like when you see the reveal when Boba Fett runs into Leia and Chewie, that one page isn't there. And then the final page where the giant reveal that Darth Vader is here was in this book too.
Let me see.
It was already revealed there.
Yeah. What?
Dr. Aphra starts freaking out. She's like, I can feel him. I know he's here. And she starts having PTSD and she's having these flashbacks. That's what the red scenes are. And then it's like, boom, Darth Vader's here. Literally, this book, which is the event book, is just this book on the second half. I read those and I was furious.
Livid.
Why the fuck did you make me pay for the same book twice? I'm going to Twitter this.
No, you know what you should do is, because at the end of all these issues, there's like, write us, and you should be like, the fuck.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed. I think this maybe is an editing thing. I don't think necessarily that it was like Soule or Wong's decisions. I don't know. Definitely wasn't the creative, the art team's decisions. Both of them did a great job. Both books look fantastic. The art on Dr. Aphra has looked good from the beginning. But I mean, it's so dumb. Why did I read the same book twice?
That's frustrating. I think
it's good. I wish I had a camera set up so I could show you. But like literally the first panel where she appears, and it shows her friend leaning against the bar. Here, I think at this point I kind of have to show you, right?
Yeah.
So like, here they are at the bar, right? They're leaning there having a conversation.
And that's Alpha, or that's Bounty Hunters.
That was Bounty Hunters, and then here they are leaning at that bar, and it says, let's see, where's the last one? Between the 2 of us, we've double-crossed everyone in this room. So over here, it's everyone in this room has double-crossed everyone else. Between the 2 of us, I'm surprised they haven't killed us yet. It's just a matter of time before the whole thing explodes. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I think the last time we ran into something like this was that issue of Hickman's X-Men, where like 2 issues in a row, they were basically the same book. Just
I remember that. It was issue 12 and 13.
Yeah, fine-tuned. It was literally exactly the same art, and there were just very small differences in the copy.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, that's frustrating. You're wasting your money at that point. Well, that's not cool.
So, if you're not reading the tie-ins, you would have never known. And I would have given this issue a B+. Like, it was a setup issue, but it was fun, and the art was nice. But it gets an F- for being a ripoff of another book.
Right. Gentry says, I'm just now noticing how odd Bounty Hunters #2 cover design is. Not necessarily bad, just odd. No, we said that in the...
I think it's bad.
Well, it's just
off-putting.
sloppy. It's just sloppy. Like, things are overlapping them. Like, they're just, like, as a design critique, there's a good way of doing that, and this is not it. Like, it's just floating. It was just like, let's put this here.
It literally looks like they said, like they told the artist, like, hey, I want floating head of Jabba and Boba. I want Boba's ship, and I want Han Solo. And the guy was just like, drag and drop, drag and drop.
Trust me,
and drop.
I totally understand that when someone comes up to you and is like, hey, I want this design, and you're like, all right, word for word, here you go. Like, sometimes you just get to that point where you want to do that. But yeah, it's a very odd cover. Hopefully 3 will be better. I had really good expectations for this, and this issue was just kind of, for me, I don't understand. I thought it just feels sloppy. It feels sloppy how we're trying to connect this event to Return of the Jedi, and I hope what this issue did for me is it's looking like the dismount's going to be kind of sloppy, in my opinion. Like, if it continues this way, then I don't feel like it'll fit naturally like the way I thought it was in the previous 2 issues. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, so that's going to do it for our Marvel issues until we get to honorable mentions. Next up, from DC, we have Superman Action Comics Annual 2021. I'm going to hold off. This was going to be my pick of the week, but I'm holding off.
Okay. And
you're not going to like my pick of the week, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Because I'm not here to please you. That being said, I really, really dig this premise of House of L. So much that I want to know more about it, and this is why this isn't my pick of the week, because I don't quite understand the ending of this book. I think we both don't quite understand the ending of this book.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah. So the way that this story... I'm sorry. Hold on just a second.
No. Oh. We'll wait for Nate. It's technical issues. No, I think he's saying night-night to his little girl. But how's everybody doing in the chat? Everybody cool? We good? Oh, he's back.
Telling baby night-night. Sorry.
It's all good.
So the way that this whole story is told is it's posed as some refugees or some, like people that live in squalor on War World are old guys basically telling a bunch of kids a story of the House of L. And he says this is something that happens in our future, but in an alternate future. Multiverse future, yeah. And then at the end, one of the girls says, whenever I tell a story, it feels fake. Like, it doesn't feel like a real story, or it sounds made up. He goes, and then she says, well, why doesn't your story sound made up? And then she's like, have you been to the future? Like, straight up, she's like, have you been to the future? And he basically steps around it and is just like, oh, like, you're clever. Your question has an answer, and there's another story in it, and it's a story that I'll tell you when you need it most. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I think Johnson's obviously trying to leave that open-ended, making you want more without giving you the straight answer. But I think just with the way that DC is moving to the extensive multiverse and all continuities matter and everything matters, I think for sure this is something that will come up again. It is something that does happen. Now, does it happen and does it directly affect the Earth Zero Kal-El that we're dealing with now, who knows? But
I want more.
Yeah.
I thought, this is obviously whatever the story that this guy is telling happens prior to the future state shit that happens, because that was like totally bonkers. Because at that point, the House of El was kind of in ruin, and in this book, we established that the House El is like at its strongest in this book. And I'm just really intrigued with this idea of like it feels more. I don't know if Game of Thrones is the right word, right? But it just feels very established in like outside of an individual. Like, yes, it's called the House of El, but you have all these different variations of Kryptonians who are just fucking cool. They're badass. And you've got these ones that lived on War World Prime, and they've conquered that, and now they've kind of have this united front.
Yeah, I'm most interested in the daughter that's a Blue Lantern.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
100%. And she kicks ass. Like, they all kick ass in the Future State book. So when this was announced, I was like, hell yeah. And I read it and I was like, I really hope this isn't just like DC telling Johnson, you can finish up this story arc, but it's basically a fairy tale. I really hope that's not it.
I don't think so. I actually think it's going to be the complete opposite. I think, if anything, this will be Johnson's footprint on the Superman mythos when we look back 10, 20, 30 years from now. I'm not saying that it's going to be so grand, but they're going to be like, oh, yeah, don't you remember when Philip Kennedy Johnson introduced the House of El concept?
Right.
So, and so I think that he'll be motivated to continue this, however, in whatever way it takes to do
I really
that.
hope he does, because I love all the characters. I don't know if they're new or not, but I love them. I liked the Cyborg Superman reintroduction. He's one of my favorite villains.
The Henshaw. What's his name? Hank or Henry Henshaw?
I think it's Henry, but it might be Hank. Anyway, he's cool in this book. He looks like a badass. He's manipulative. Basically, what happens is, in the story that they tell, these characters are thrown into the Phantom Zone again by a son of Kal-El. And he's, this version or this character has taken over. He's killed Apocalypse. He's in charge of Apocalypto, or however you call it, Apocalypse, or I don't know what you call it.
It's just Apocalypse.
Yeah, and so he throws them into the Phantom Zone without them being able to get out. We find out the fate of Mr. Miracle in this book. He's dead with his mother box. That's how they're able to get out of the Phantom Zone. All of it's really cool, and I like the idea of these Kryptonians having different power sets and not being necessarily invincible, because there are things that can kick their ass. But it just felt, it didn't, you know what it is? It didn't feel like a classic Superman book, like, faster than a speeding bullet. There's more mythos behind it, more mystery, and more lore. I think that's what's cool about it, is like, well, I want to know more about the House of El. Are there other Kryptonian houses that still exist? Is there going to be a war between them? I hope so. That's what I like about this book. So I really hope, I hope you're right. I hope Johnson just blows the doors wide open on the concept of House of El, and there being like intergalactic space wars between other Kryptonian, almost kind of like Dragon Ball Z, and like there being, Saiyans from Vegeta and then Saiyans from Earth, and they just go all out. Like, I think that would be really kick-ass if they do the same thing here in Superman.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Jaden says, I would love to be a Kryptonian and have the Blue Lantern sounds badass. No, she's cool. Yeah. She's really cool. And then Grayson says, I love the dialogue between Cap and Thor. Just saying. Okay, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, it's 2 against 1 here, so I think maybe I was the one that was wrong.
Gonna say, don't you be mean to our
no,
our viewers.
Opposite. Now. I'm saying it seems like maybe I was wrong. Okay,
I thought it was cool.
Good.
All right,
whatever you say, big guy.
Next up, shut up, Chief.
That's what he says. No, pal and
buddy,
big guy.
All right, next up we have Batman Detective Comics 1039. This is the weakest Batman Detective Comics from Tamaki that I think it's the weakest one.
Oh, really?
The only reason why I say that is I felt like it was kind of rushed. Like, we were really building. I felt like we were building Mr. Worth, which I really liked, as like a really shitty villain, like just absolute piece of shit. And then it's like, oh, by the way, this mutant alien insect dude named Vile is behind all of the violence currently going on during this arc in Detective Comics. And I don't know. I'm going to sound really judgmental, but I felt like it was a throwaway, in my opinion. Like, I just don't feel like I don't understand this villain, I guess, is my thing. Like, is it an alien? Is it a parasite?
You didn't read the backup story, did you?
No.
Bud,
hey,
it's
whoa,
literally his origin story.
Don't you start with me and not reading. You didn't read half the books we pulled this week. Honorable mentions is so damn thick.
That's not true.
Go ahead.
Listen,
explain it to me.
Yeah, it's like a parasite he gets as like a kid. So he's like infected by this thing like his whole life.
Okay.
And so like he grows up like doing this shit. Like it's actually really scary and pretty creepy. But yeah, it shows you like his origin and how he gets it and how he basically sees Gotham as like this. This is his way that he's gonna take back Gotham, the Gotham he knows. Whatever. I think this is just a setup for Hugh Vile as a reoccurring bad guy. I don't think he will be going anywhere.
Okay. I don't know. I don't like it.
Oh, that's fine if you don't like
I really liked the first two issues that we picked up. So at 34, 35.
Like that.
I liked those issues a lot, and I think and it might be the artist too. Like, I don't mind the new artist on this, but I really dug the previous artist. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it was okay. I feel like we just threw away Worth, and I know they're not gone, but it just feels like we're going in a completely different direction. Whereas when we started this out, it was like, how is Bruce going to adapt to this new lifestyle of not living in a mansion and having to live amongst the people, right? And having multiple bat caves that are spread around, and he doesn't have all of his assets. I really like that in this book, and then it kind of just turned.
Okay.
We got away
I see
from
what you're
that.
saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We just got away from that concept, and I feel like now it's just like, now we've got a creepy, disgusting villain, and I don't know. It feels like it was rushed. We were really built. The first couple issues felt like this was going to be DC's Daredevil. You know what I mean? Like, it had that vibe of like reestablishing this character and really getting into Bruce's head, and then this shows up, and it's like, let's just throw something at the wall and get to it. Let's just speed it up, and that's how I felt about this issue in general. I don't know. I liked the more personal idea, and maybe I'm spoiled because you talked about it like it would be cool if Detective Comics was more a personal story about Batman, whereas Tinian's Batman is more about the Bat family and the overall Batman mythos, and this is more of like a personal story.
This is a Bruce Wayne story, whereas Batman is a Batman family Batman story.
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of hope we get back to that. We'll see. I didn't think the writing was bad. This wasn't the strongest, in my opinion, the strongest
Sounds
entry.
Like you hated it. Sounds like you would just burn it up if you could.
Did I say that, chat? Did those words come out of my mouth?
Damn.
I just said it wasn't the strongest. That's all.
Damn.
Calvin says, reminds me of a Spider-Man villain that is a bunch of spiders in a sack of a human skin.
Ooh.
Cool. That sounds great. That sounds so much fun. Anyway, that's Batman Detective Comics. We'll see what happens in the next one. But all right.
Sorry, I have to grab something for my wife real quick. Be right back.
Okay. No, you're fine. Next, we're jumping into DC's, kind of undervalued, I believe, in my opinion. I don't feel like there's much hype behind this Infinite Frontier event, I guess. But I'm, this is the second entry, or really the third, because there was a 0 issue, into this concept of Infinite Frontier, and everything leads to Darkseid. Now, I know that is a concept that is heavily used within the DC universe. Again, novice reader. Both me and Nate are novice readers. But it feels like this Infinite Frontier book feels like it's it's obviously setting up for a much bigger event in the DC comic book universe, which I know is the end game for all comic books, or at least Marvel and DC, is to like, what's the next series that's going to open up to the next big event that's going to have multiple tie-ins and multiple books and all that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But this one really does feel like we're really moving in that direction where this is going to be some massive epic event in DC, and I hope I'm right. There are characters in this book that I have novice DC reader. I don't know a majority of these characters. I mean, obviously know my basics. But essentially what we have in this book is there are beings within the multiverse that are concerned that something massive is happening, and so they're trying to get down to the bottom of it, and our Earth Zero Justice League is not talking. They're doing their own investigation into this event that's happening, and they're not playing ball with the multiverse police in a nutshell, right? And
are they involved with the multiverse police besides Barry?
The Justice League?
Yeah.
I think they have some kind of informant. Maybe that's Barry.
Yeah, because Barry is the representative for Earth Zero.
Right, but what I think is going on is I think Batman, it's probably more Batman than Superman. They don't trust it. That's why they're keeping their mouth shut. In my opinion, I could be wrong. Okay. But that's what we get in this book is we get an agent. I don't know who she is, but she's trying to figure out, what they know, what they're trying to figure out. But then when she finally gets the plates moving, she ends up getting killed by Captain Atomic, who he's from another multiverse and is trying to hide in Earth Zero, and he kills himself because he's been found out that he's from another multiverse. And the last thing he says before he kills himself is Darkseid is kabloom.
Well, that's all he's trying to say, because that's the same thing that they said at the end of the first issue.
But there's something at the end of that sentence, like that's pivotal in the actual DC universe. Like I've heard Ron say, I think it's Darkseid is the end or something like that. Like it always ends with Darkseid, I believe is the. I've heard Ron say that. I've heard Lee say that. I think I've even heard Jacob say that. Like that's like a common thing, like a common something he instills.
Jaden, tell us what it is. You know what it is, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jaden, let us know.
Because that's what what's his name? Roy. That's what he says too. Whenever he puts the ring on and the ring starts freaking out, and the Black Lantern ring. Or he doesn't say it, but it is said. It's on the panel.
Yeah,
down there at the bottom.
And Psycho Pirate said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like Darkseid is creating an army of meta and superhumans for some massive event. He killed that council of demigods at the beginning, and so something big is happening, and I'm looking forward to it. To be absolutely honest with you, like I am ready for a non-Dark Knights death metal event that is the next Crisis or Infinite Earth or whatever the fuck you want to call it event for DC, because I want the more and more that we read DC, I'm like, man, dude, I think I'm starting to become like a legit DC fan, because we've said this before. We feel like DC books are a little bit more grittier, a little bit more, I guess, weighted is the right word to use. I'm not sure. And that's just a journey that we're on right now. Like we're just kind of learning about DC, and in this book, it's like, I think the beauty of this book is we don't know shit about DC. Like we know little bits and pieces, but I read this book and I'm totally 100% enticed, and it makes me want to know more. Whereas when I read a Marvel book sometimes that has a bunch of like history in it, and it's basically enticing you to go dig, I'm kind of like, I guess, sure, maybe I'll think about it. You know what I mean? Whereas this, it's like, oh man, this is getting heavy. This is getting dope. And the Black Lantern thing, that's really, we've been asked, is Roy good or is he going to be bad? It's looking like he's going to be bad. So We'll have to wait and see. Jaden says, yeah, you guys got it on the nail. Eric, what up, bro? He's been gone the past 2 weeks. Excited to catch up this week. We cannot wait for you to catch up because
some interesting stuff going on.
That's what it's about. So, you have anything to say about Infinite Frontier? Anything?
No, not anything extra. I'm enjoying the whole multiverse issue, stuff going on. I like that. I also like that we're clearly identifying where we're at because I need to know who is who and like what's going on. But yeah, that's
okay.
I'm enjoying it so far.
All right, next up we've got Justice League Last Ride from Chip Zdarsky, a otherverse. What is the word? Not otherverse.
Ever? What is it?
What do you say?
Elseworlds.
Elseworld, an Elseworld story. I'll be plain. This felt like a very fillery issue. We get more dynamic between the group and how they, this is their last battle. I will say, I think you brought this up in the comic book haul video, but it feels like Darkseid is showing up in every fucking DC book right now. And this one felt kind of like, okay. But basically what happens is the League of Planets is on to Hal Jordan and him trying to hide Lobo, and they're about to send the rest of the Green Lantern Corps after them as a policing unit to go find Lobo. That's this book in a nutshell. And we're still got a power dynamic between Superman and Batman, and there's clearly some tension between Superman and Batman and Diana, like, she's my girl. No, she's my girl. Like, there's that in this book. But it's like kind of unsaid. But overall it was fun, but it felt very fillery because at the end of it, I'm like, someone shows up and I don't know who it is. Is it Darkseid? Is it the Lantern Corps? Is it someone else? They're very vague in what that was. So I think out of the 3 issues currently released, this is probably the weakest. It just felt like it was kind of rushed. It felt kind of fillery and not in a good way. So I probably could have put this book in honorable mentions just because I don't really have much more to say about that. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I like the series, but overall I was not incredibly impressed with this issue.
Gotcha.
So, all right, after that we got Joker number 5. I told you I felt like this was a potential jumping off point for some people if they felt like, I've read and I've looked at my pull list and I feel like I might actually drop this book. I think this is that point for some people in this book, not for me personally. But what it is the first time Joker ever went to Arkham Asylum. And Gordon's obsession with making sure that he doesn't escape. And in this book,
like a flashback.
It's a total flashback issue. And and basically it's not Harvey. Well, Harvey Dent's in the book, but it's Gordon becoming absolutely 100 obsessed with Joker, and it's when Joker realizes that he's got Gordon. He's got Gordon in the bag. Like he knows how to control him. He knows what to say, and that's what this issue is. It's the first time he goes over there, and nothing, like, no one dies in the issue or anything like that. At least with the Joker, but it gets to the point where Gordon is so obsessed with the Joker that he forgets his responsibilities with, like, an anniversary with his wife, or assisting Harvey Dent when he's DA with a case where he ends up not being there and a bunch of Harvey's men get killed because he's out of Arkham making sure that Joker doesn't fucking move. And then when he's called away, Joker escapes, but he only escapes to go eat pie in the cafeteria. So that's how, like, it's fucked up. The artwork in it's really good, but this is a 100% flashback story, but Tinian's writing definitely shines in this issue. Like, it still has that Tinian, nothing is not important in his copy, if that makes sense. It's not, it doesn't feel like a filler, even though this was technically a filler issue. It's basically just showing how much the Joker really has control of Gordon. There is a panel in there where, like, the Joker just looks absolutely insane, just like, hey! So it was cool, but it didn't, it just reminds the reader or novice reader that the Joker literally has Gordon wrapped around his finger, in a nutshell.
That could be a good setup for where this story is going to head.
No doubt. All right, next up we have another annual, the Flash Annual 2021. This also was very close to being my pick of the week.
Yeah, this one was really good, and I'm glad to hear you say that because you were getting iffy on Flash.
I was just because I didn't know where we were going, and I felt like we were losing direction in this Speed Force jumping story arc. You know, like it was cool, but I was like, where are we going? And like, this is it. This is where we're going.
Yeah. So, even though this is the annual, this is 100% the direct next chapter in the arc that we've had going in the Flash. We've mentioned it a few times, but just it's kind of weird to do that. You had 776, and then the annual, and then 77, and whatever. Anyway, so this is the wrap up to Wally being stuck in the time stream, or the Speed Force, excuse me, and the Speed Force is trying to get him to fix something. Well, it turns out that the Speed Force has a blip, a bubble, someone stuck there, and it's Savitar. If you know Flash things, then maybe you know who that is, but it's Savitar who has been stuck in the Speed Force, causing the Speed Force to bring Wally in to try to defeat him. And if you remember from the last time that we covered this book, Wally was talking with his future daughter, and she knew what was going to happen to him next, and she was like, this is going to be the hardest thing you ever do, but don't worry, you get through it.
Right.
And really what happens is he shows up at precisely the microsecond the explosion happens in what is it? It's called Sanctuary, I think.
Yeah.
And everyone is frozen in time except for him and Roy. And basically, it's come to find out that Savitar is the one that has caused this thing, that has caused this blip. It was not actually Wally that caused this massive explosion that killed everyone from Heroes in Crisis or whatever that event was. So this is definitely a big retcon of something that all you guys in chat have told us that you didn't like. Now they did Wally super dirty. They heard you because they're fixing it here. Wally didn't do it. It was Savitar fucking up with the Speed Force, literally trying to suck the Speed Force all into himself, and be able to break out of it.
Right.
And so he has this big heart-to-heart with Roy, and
which I thought was like the best part of the issue, outside of Green Arrow, like telling Wally that everything's okay. I thought that that emotional, and again, me and you have no we're just complete vanilla on this. Like, we don't know, right? But I thought it was really cool to see Roy be like, bro, it's not your fault, and this is what you want us to do. We're supposed to fight until the end. This is what heroes do. And I thought that was really cool when they had that dialogue between each other.
Yeah. And he says, he's in an obvious nod to what is going on, he says, hey, you never know what's going to happen. We'll find our way back one day. Like, we'll figure it out. And here he is, whether it's the same Roy with the same memories, I don't know. But I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is too.
And so that's the vast majority of the issue. The rest of the issue is Savitar breaking out and Wally beating the shit out of him, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the art in this book was really fun. It's really good. There's a lot of action and a lot of moving pieces. Obviously, with Flash, that's how it's going to be. Yet I felt like I was able to follow it really well.
What's the name of the bad guy again?
Savitar.
So there's a scene where I think Wally, I don't know at this point if he's realizing that he can beat him or not, but at one point he's throwing punches at him and he's like, tut, 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 and there's like three heads of him, and he's like, ha ha ha. I thought that was one of the coolest panels in the book. Like, that was dope. That was really dope.
Right. So, and when we first started this arc at the very beginning, which is when Adams, took over from Williamson, finally ending his long run on the book, it was Wally West saying, hey, I'm hanging up the costume. I'm done. I just want to spend time with my family, and that's it. And this story and this arc really ends with him saying like, okay, I realize now, he had a, we're glossing over the conversation he had with Roy, but they talked for a long time. It's a big heart-to-heart conversation. If you're interested in that relationship or this retcon, you should probably read this issue. But he basically decides, okay, I need to be a hero. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, the sacrifices, that's why we were chosen, and we've got to make those sacrifices. So.
It's almost like he acknowledged Roy's. He was able to have that dialogue with Roy to realize that them dying, he needed to continue to be Flash in order to be like, in memory of Roy. Like, I have to keep his legacy alive by being Flash.
Right.
It was really cool. And then after he gets sucked back into reality, or the normal reality, him and Arrow have a heart-to-heart. We don't really see the dialogue between them, but it seems like Green Arrow finally forgives Wally because he realizes that it wasn't Wally's fault. It was He was just a pawn of circumstance, if you will. A vessel to be used that he had no choice in.
Yeah. So it seems like the setup from here on out, I haven't read any of the detailed solicitations of the next Flash issues, but it seems like we're 100% set up for this to be a Wally West Flash book. It's been, I don't know how long it's been since we've had Wally West as the main Flash of the book. It's been a long time. I know a lot of you guys in chat have told us that you'd prefer Wally West over Barry Allen, and how bad he's been done lately. So hopefully this will entice some people to maybe jump on this book with us and see where we're going, because not only is Wally for sure back as far as like being the he wants to be a hero, but Barry Allen is going to this Infinite Frontier group, the multiversal group with President Superman and stuff. Like he's gone. He's doing that stuff. And so yeah, Calvin said after 10 years they are finally letting Wally just be. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. I think it's taken a long time, but I think they heard a lot of people that's what they wanted. I'm told we're totally impartial. We don't know hardly anything about Wally or Barry, but honestly, just the people that have read it, this is what you guys want. I'm kind of glad that you're getting it, and then that we get to see what's up with Wally.
Yeah, I'm ready to like dive deep into the character. I want to know more, and I think that's kudos to Adams for the writing and just like continuing. I think it speaks volumes when you've got readers like us who have no clue what the fuck is going on, and we're like, dude, Flash is a really good book. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I also, to my detriment or not, have been pretty committed to continuing on in the Arrowverse. I've seen the first 2 seasons of the Arrow, and I'm now on season 3 where the Flash starts, and I'm watching them in sequential order. So it's like you watch a couple Flash episodes, you watch a couple Green Arrow issues or episodes, and then they cross over at one point. And
right.
All that being said, my interest in the Flash is starting to peak. So tell me in chat your favorite runs, or like your favorite writer for a Wally West specific Flash. I know it's Barry Allen in the TV show, but I don't really care about that. I'm curious about Wally West now that he's going to be the main Flash. Tell me,
right.
Is it Mark Waid, or is it I can't remember the other big one that was right after Infinite Crisis. Anyway, tell me which one you like.
Cool. All right, let's get into chat really quick. So Jaden, I've always believed Dinah belongs to Soups. Well, not belong, but you know what I mean. They're trying to fix it and appreciate it, honestly. Of course, they're trying to retcon it. It needed to be. After 10 years, they're finally letting Wally just be. You said that. Also, Calvin says, President Superman's so silly. I love it. He's an interesting character.
At first, I was like, man, this is kind of weird, but I like it now, too.
He's starting to grow on me, yeah. Patty says, I'm happy about this. Jaden, he's really cool. I like him more than Val Zod. Okay. I don't know what that one means, because who's that? Who's Val Zod? Oh, okay. My favorite was the Justice League cartoon. Hey, Justice League cartoon is really good. It's fun. It's really good.
I watched the first 2 episodes on HBO, and then who knows what it got distracted.
Sure. Loki, yeah. Next up, we're out of our DCs and we're jumping into our independents, and we're starting off with Boom Studios' 7 Secrets.
Yeah, this was almost my pick of the week.
Yeah,
because it's a good issue. It's just quick. It's just quick.
it is quick. We don't get any more explanation into Sigrid showing back up alive. We just know that it shakes Casper's mom to the core. But also she's seen a majority of the secrets, so I can tell why that would that's just like the cherry on top.
She knows all the secrets now.
Yes, she does. In a nutshell, I don't explain this to me, Nick, because I'm a little lost.
Okay.
What does the Queen of England have to do with any of this?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So
I didn't get that.
Yeah, so they show up and it sounds like she is part of the secret organization in a general sense. That the keepers are allied to the throne in some way.
Okay.
Or at least to her.
Gotcha.
Who knows? Maybe she was a previous keeper and she married in or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
The
main basis of the book, though, is that the group is now splitting up again because if they stick together, they're all going to get assassinated or killed. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. But the big thing that happens is the first secret holder or keeper is going back to get his secret. So we didn't know that was possible, but apparently, it makes sense because other civilizations who got that secret that ended up disappearing, the secret gets back into where its vessel.
Well, yeah, we basically get told like the certain famous cities that have been destroyed, like Atlantis. It was that first secret that was what caused the destruction of these lost cities, right. Which I thought that was really cool. So he's like, yeah, this, the secret's still there. It's not gone, so we still got to go get it.
Just got to go get it. And then
which means we got to go into a country that literally has been vaporized and doesn't exist.
And like there was a line, something that was like, cover your mouth or something like that, because we don't want you to breathe in the ashes of a completely lost civilization,
dead country. Yeah,
yeah. I was like, God damn, that's intense. But the big reveal at the end is somebody within that recon group is
okay. Sorry, I found the line. It's even worse than what we said.
Okay.
He says, I don't want to go by land. I can't imagine it's good for your health to breathe in the corpse of an entire country.
Yikes! So at the end of that, we're Casper's like thought bubble is there saying one of these people, someone within this group is going to obtain the secret and they're the betrayer.
Traitor would soon hold the most destructive weapon in the world.
So, again, nothing is finite, right? But I was believing that the Sigrid reveal, he was the traitor, right? Because like, what if the son that chopped his head off was able to make him into like a clone and right, and that still could happen possibly. But the way Tom ended the book, it's like, no, one of these 4 people that are going to get the first secret is the traitor, and the artist makes it look like it's the guy with the mask, with the Joker mask.
I think you're just suspicious of him.
I am. The only reason why I am, he's drawn very suspiciously in this issue.
Oh, for sure. He's a guy that wears a mask. You never see his face, and he's always grinning.
Okay. Also, the first issue that we ever bought, I bought the secret variant, the reveal variant or whatever it was, and it's literally him and the first keeper, like him, like they're staring down, like they're about to fight each other, and the first secret is open. So I'm just saying, I don't know if that's anything, but we'll have to wait and see. I still think it's him. I'm gonna keep my chips on that. I think he's the bad guy, but I think obviously that's probably a misdirect. It's being done on purpose. It's probably, I don't know any of the names of the characters, but we're about to get a reveal. And then the other thing that's really sad, and I'm not looking forward to it, is they keep on mentioning that Casper's gonna die. Like it's coming.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna die. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Half because I don't want him to die, and 2 because like, why?
Yeah. Jaden says people are still doing the keep calm quotes. Yeah, I mean,
apparently
it's a thing. I enjoyed the issue, but I'm getting incredibly frustrated that Taylor keeps on going like, "Hey, get ready, Casper's gonna die. He's gonna die. Don't just get ready. Don't get too comfortable.
He's not doing it that often."
But when he does, it pisses me off.
Anyway, it was good. This series is amazing. If you're not reading it,
Yes,
that's silly because
exactly.
this series is so good.
Stay away from the fairy stuff. Anyway, just saying, don't put that in the book.
Nope, that is literally the best issue in the entire run by far, and it's not even close.
I'm literally just saying it to piss you off. Anyway, next up, our last book before we get to our honorable mentions, and that is The Silver Coin, number 4.
Oh, Gentry, that's so good.
What do you say?
He said, "I'm 100% predicting a resurrection secret."
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree.
Yes, chips.
Silver Coin. Oh, there it is.
This is my pick of the week. I know some people are completely off on Silver Coin. They don't like it, or they just feel completely disconnected. I liked this issue. I thought it was really cool. It felt very Blade Runner-y, which I liked. And this is going to sound kind of weird, but I actually liked the lack of demonic devil shit in this book, which that's the whole point of the book, right?
No, the whole book is it's a horror anthology. Some things that are horrific to people are dystopian futures with worms coming out of your eyes,
which was really cool. I thought that was dope. It was like I was like, "Ew, that's gross. Get away." Ew,
It was very gross, but it was cool.
It was cool.
Cybernetic worms that can lock onto other people.
Right, that's fucking dope. And so, basically, we get like a code breaker, or somebody that's stealing stuff, and in being pursued by a drone cyborg police officer, she stumbles upon a coin, one of the silver coins, and the way it was set up, like the person that had it is dead, and they're on this like throne. It was very Akira-esque, like the way, like if you ever read that manga, at the end, the main antagonist is sitting on a throne like that, where there's like cords and shit coming into it, and they're just kind of basking in technology. That it had that kind of feel to it. But she's being pursued by the police. Her buddies get killed in the pursuit of them, and it's literally just like a DJI drone with like guns on it that's like flying after them. So she gets a hold of one of the coins, and she's immediately like, when she gets it, her programming, her AI is like, virus detected, virus detected, virus detected, and then she accepts it, and it goes virus accepted, and she's able to like manifest into the drone, do the worm eye thing into the drone, and basically possess the user of the drone, and convinces him to leave the police station and wait outside for her so she can kill him. And that's what she does. She like rips his visor out, which is connected to his brain, so like everything gets ripped out of his face. I was like, oh fuck. And she's surrounded, when she gets the coin, just like in the other books, she's surrounded by these dark non-body shaped spirits. And so it happens again in the future in 2467. And that's how the issue ends. The only criticism I'll have in this book is I want to know more about this story, and we probably won't get it.
No, we won't.
That sucks. It sucks. Like, I want to write Jeff Lemire and be like, give me more, please.
I mean, this is, if you've read any Jeff Lemire at all, this is like the most quintessential obvious Jeff Lemire. Very dystopian future, creepy, weird kind of thing.
Yeah.
The only reason why this didn't make my pick of the week is because, again, it read really quickly, but it's okay. And the coin, I felt like didn't have as much involvement in the story as I think it should have.
Right. I can see that.
But I mean, I'm saying those as very minor critiques. It was a great issue. My I think it might. Well, I don't know.
I think the previous issue
the summer
was really
camp
good.
one. See, I like the summer camp one.
What was the previous one?
The previous one.
There was they were stealing stuff, right? They like stole something from some guy and just like,
from some old man. Yeah.
I think that's why I liked it, because in that one we got those visible bodies with her, like she became one of them, right? And so like we get that connection in this issue, except they're just more spiritualistic rather than physical, like zombie bodies. So I think that's why I was like, you know what, this is really cool, because there's a little bit of a callback there. But I think for me, I agree with all your points. It read really fast. It was more of like a visual issue rather than reading. which is not a bad thing. But the only critique is I want more of this. I want more of this story. I want more of the previous story.
Yeah.
You know, the next issue is going to be a Ram V issue. I'm super stoked for that. I know it's 50-50 to be kind of punny there. Because, you know, I was listening to Robbie before we came on, and he was like, yeah, I'm not liking Silver Coin. So that, you know, some people really love it, and some people really hate it. Or don't hate it, but they just really dislike it. So
it's an anthology book. Like, the whole point is that you're going to get little snippets, and, like, you know, you got to watch, you got to see how it carries through.
Yeah, I think...
Got to see it through, my boy.
I guess for me, we know that it's an anthology issue, whereas, like, when we'll get to it when we get to Haha. Like, Haha is clearly an anthology book, but it wasn't presented that way to us. And we'll get into it when we get to honorable mentions. But
well, yeah,
we'll get there.
One thing I do want to say is, if you are interested in this series and you want a little bit more cohesion and a little bit more continuity, one thing that I thought was really cool was yesterday Michael Walsh, so the artist that's on every issue, he tweeted yesterday and said, you know, final order cutoff for Silver Coin 5 is Monday. He said, this is an extremely important issue to the entire mythology behind the actual coin and will have large ramifications moving forward. Okay. Now that we are an ongoing series, expect more continuity.
Dope.
So
Patty says, I want this as a next Netflix show, and I could not agree more.
Yes, that would be great, because it's just one of those, like, you can jump into any episode, like, it, you know, you watch the first couple, you get the general, okay, the coins, the tying factor, and, like, you really let people shine. Like, this, I think this is probably the best example of a writer I'm familiar with and going, oh man, this is totally a Jeff Lemire style in the Silver Coin universe. You know, I didn't really get that necessarily with, like, the Kelly Thompson issue. I love that I think her issue is my favorite issue, but it didn't feel like exquisitely Kelly Thompson. Maybe it's just because I'm not super familiar with her work, but, like, it gives these writers opportunities to work with Walsh and put their little stamp on this whole universe that he's created.
Yep, for sure. No, it's definitely dope, and I think once there's, like, a collected version, whether it's, like, volume 1 or whatever, I think I'm definitely picking it up for sure.
Yep, that is already been solicited. It's the first 5 issues. It will be out. Oh, it doesn't say.
Patty says, wait, what? Wait, what? What are you saying? Wait, what? Like, there's no question mark, so maybe you're not asking a question. You mean, did you not know that this has been picked up as an ongoing? Because it has, and it's freaking dope.
Yeah, it's we will be going after farther than issue 5.
Issue 4, yeah. I think Ram V is after Ram V. It's Vita Ayala. I can't remember. There's a shit ton of them. Like, it's a whole new set. I mean, it's another 5 writers, so it's gonna be dope, super dope. All right, that is. Oh wait, no, we got Beyond the Reach. I totally whiffed.
Well, we'll just say this is the beginning of our.
Okay.
What is it called? Honorable mentions. So this is a Aftershock book by Ed Brisson that I picked up solely because of Twitter. There were a lot of actual comic creators that were like, "Don't sleep on this book. You know, you need to get it. It's good." And so I was like, "Okay, sure, sounds good." I know Ed Brisson. I know his work.
Does it hold up? Were they right? Oh, ooh.
No, it's okay. So the story follows a girl driving through the redwood forest. She just broke up with her boyfriend because he slept with her sister, and she's super pissed. And all of a sudden, while she's driving, there's this huge, like, negative flash, and her car goes spinning off the road and in wrecks. And she wakes up, and 3 cars have collided, and there's a guy in the ground, and a mutant bug plant hybrid is eating his guts out. And she's surrounded by fire and these horrible monsters, and she hears a little boy yelling for help. And so she goes and she saves the little boy. She also saves a weird gremlin looking dude that you can see on the cover that doesn't speak English or anything, and for some reason saves him as well, even though he looks like he's just as evil as the rest of them. They go and kind of have a weird conversation in the bathroom while they're hiding in there, and they're like, "Yeah, we're totally gonna get out of here. You know, we'll figure it out." And the boy's like, "No, we're gonna die. I need my parents." It's like, okay, you've been saying that for 5 pages now. I get it. And then all of a sudden, the boy hears his dad and is like, "Oh, it's my dad. It's good. I'm saved. You don't have to help me anymore." And he like runs outside, and she's like, "No, that's my sister's voice." And then they go outside, and it's this really huge, disgusting, doggy looking weird animal, and it slurps the little boy up, and she's like, "No," and that's it.
That's very fever dreamish.
So yeah, I mean, it's very much like, it seems like, but by the title, Beyond the Breach, it seems like there's like a multiversal breach somehow, and all these creatures are able to come into, or somehow are in our zone now, and I guess we're gonna follow this girl, and
maybe you'll get more in issue 2.
Happens. You'll have to find out from someone else, because I will not be picking up issue 2. Sorry.
That's awesome.
The pull list is too long right now. I can't pick up.
That makes sense.
I just can't do it right now. So
no, yeah, things got to be cut. And
Jaden says, "So why is he on the cover if he dies?" I'm assuming he doesn't die. Like, we don't see him like get crunched in bones and blood splatters everywhere.
That's her son in the future.
Okay,
and then
he gets picked up and wrapped up by the thing's tongue, and then like thrown into his mouth and like gulped. So maybe he goes in whole, and she's got a little spear thing that like zaps energy in her hand that she stole from the gremlin. So maybe she zaps him and it kills him.
Jaden says that sounds like a crappy version of The Mist.
Kind of does. Yeah, it kind of does.
Ginger says, at this rate, Netflix picks up comics is concerning. They'd probably pick up series with complete blank pages if they had a cool cover, and Tom Taylor tweeted about it. Also, Gentry says, and at the end of the day, it's cool to see so much support for comics through the media, though. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the next. I mean, that's where it's source material. It's source material for content, and that's what all these platforms want. And I'm not going to complain about it. I want more stuff to watch.
No, don't.
But yeah. All right, so that kicks off our honorable mentions part of the show. We're going to start it with X Corp, number 3.
Full cover.
No, it's a great cover. I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done. I'm done because I don't care. And I hate saying that because I love Teenie Howard's writing.
Except here.
It's not that. I just don't give a shit about the business dealings of the X-Men. Or not even the X-Men, of the mutants. Like, I don't know. I guess this makes me like a very simpleton reader. Blow stuff up. You know what I mean? I just don't we're going to set up a telecommunication system that'll rival anybody's on the earth, and we're going to build the most bandwidth heavy amount. I will say the cover, I love this cover. I do like the failings of Multiple Man, and that he literally says it. I can't do this on my own. And even when he gets help to achieve something as great as making this giant telecommunication network for Earth via the mutants, he still fails, and he misses his son's first steps. I did think that was cool, but the Mosaic, what's her name? Mosaic, or Monet?
Monet.
Yeah. Monet and Angel. I don't care. I guess it's not that I don't care. I just don't know the characters that well. And I feel like you're supposed to really know the dynamic between the two, or even just, I feel like Monet, when she was in Hoxpox, I was like, this was dope. And in this, it's like, she's a total bitch, and I don't think it works for her, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it feels very forced.
Yeah.
So
literally the quickest synopsis ever is, the X Corp is about to launch a new technology that basically is a new telecom community where they send data through the ionosphere, and it's the fastest thing ever. They're going to do a tillion tetra floppy bytes in 2 seconds. It's just the best thing ever. And for some reason they get sabotaged, and when Jamie is supposed to launch it, it
fails.
Also, we find out that that one girl that they were trying to court, the Hellfire Gala that went with the Nazi mutants, they are developing a X gene suppressant thing, and that lady hits Monet with it. But we don't know exactly what happens to her because she busts through the wall and leaves.
Well, she just got really angry. Like, she shows back up. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. No, we don't know where she goes.
She passes out and then runs into the other two. She runs into Trinary and then that other girl, and then they go into that room expecting to see her, and there's just a big hole in the wall or in the ceiling.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see that suppress in other X books, and that's why you should pick up X Corp. And you know what? I'd rather just be like, "Where'd you get that serum?" Oh, we got it from her. Read X Corp to find out who that is.
One thing that, again, I try not to do, but like I'm going to straight up do it, is this might be the most just I don't give a fuck, ship it art I've ever seen in a comic book before. Like, it seriously looks like the person that did the art on this.
It's not finished.
It didn't finish and just said, fuck it, send it off. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do it. I'm not trying to say this is a bad artist. Maybe this is just not a great representation of their work, but like, it was so distracting. I don't think so, but this isn't the normal artist. This is just a guest artist. I literally pulled it up, and the guy that did issue 1 and 2 will also be doing issue 4 and 5. I don't know why.
I felt like the Multiple Man artwork though was decent comparative to when Angel and Monet were showing up.
Okay, yes, I apologize. That is different.
Okay.
You're talking about the first 2 pages of the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jason Liu.
That's good. That's really good. But when they cut to Monet and Angel, I'm just like, what am I looking at a coloring book? Like, what? And again, you're right. We don't like to dog. We don't like to shit talk because we can't do that. But it just didn't feel right.
I will pick up 4, but that's as far as I can commit. I will pick up 4. So
let me know how it goes.
Can do.
Iron Man, number 10.
I liked it.
I liked it too. I just don't.
It was very weird.
It's very weird. It's fun.
It's very weird, and I don't understand how it's going to connect. But I love what Christopher Cantwell has done so far. So we finally catch back up with Tony Stark. He's on a weird planet that's like somehow an amalgam of people, and it's brought people together. There's this little community. They don't understand how they got there. They're from all parts of the different parts of the galaxy and the universe. And it turns out it's all being run by an old stilt man.
Villain, yeah. One of his old villains.
Stilt man, but he's old.
Yeah.
And it's like these weird sentinels that are attacking them. And then Tony kills one and decides, you know what? I'm going to stay here. But he can't take his suit off because his neck's still broken.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
we'll see where it goes.
happens. Yeah, for sure. Really quick, Jaden says this is one of the reasons why manga is blowing Western comics out of the water, because they've really been slacking with the art. So lazy. I would agree with that. Also, Gentry says, I think since the reception of the series has been so awful that Marvel is just trying to ship out what they have so far ASAP. I would agree with that. In my opinion, I think X Corp is going to see what happens, like what's about to happen to Children of the Atom. We're going to get the first arc, the establishment, and then I believe it's just going to go away.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Probably. I've got to say something that's going to be very controversial, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Manga art can never compare to American comics art because it's not complete art.
Oh my god.
Black and white art is not complete art. You can't if you're going to compare manga to American comic books. If that's the comparison,
Are you just trying to just shut this thing down?
I'm just letting you know. Comparing them, if you're gonna say that they're the same, that they're comparable, manga is not complete art.
We never brought that question up. He just said it.
Well, I would say that it's not true then. I would say that that's not true because it is not completed art.
Jaden, please forgive him. Anyway.
I don't want forgiveness. I stand behind that firm.
Ginger says, I don't know about manga thing though. I've always been the impression that manga is more, what is that?
More curated and
curated to us. Sorry, like we get top shelf localized, and bad stuff stays overseas since it isn't worth. I don't know.
Translating. I get that. Calvin said that is controversial. I know it is. I apologize.
No, you don't. No, you don't apologize. You stick firm with your.
No. Hold on.
Don't you apologize.
I 100% stand behind that statement, but I also don't want it to be an offensive statement. And I also recognize that is a very Western-centric idea. That's I'm used to colored art, and so maybe that's just what I think of as a superior product. Maybe that's not very open-minded of me. But if we are going to compare manga and American comics, I think they're just not on the same playing field.
We'll talk about it more when we actually have our manga.
Also, Mike says successful manga artists have assistants, and lots of assistants.
Can we just get on with the honorable mentions? We'll get to it later. When we do Chainsaw Man, we'll really dive into it. Okay. Batman the Detective, number 4.
Oh, man.
It was good. Basically, Batman meant to get caught by the police, only to get poisoned by this group that's killing all of his people that he saved. What else happens in this book? Shit, I have to look at it really quick. I can't remember. He gets caught by the cops. The cops end up being the group that's killing him off. They try to poison him. He escapes. Oh, and he basically he is recruiting what he calls the Alliance of the Bat in the UK to find this group because he can't do it on his own. Very fun, but I'm ready for it to, it's 4/6, so we're about to wind down. The conclusion's happening, so I want to see where it goes. But this one kind of felt a little fillery, but it was cool. He was like, I meant to get caught. Like, yeah, sure you did. Do you have any other ones before I get into Haha and a lot?
No.
Okay. Haha, 6. Don't get it. Not reading Ice Cream Man, so I don't understand what the fuck's going on. It's too deep. I'm not smart.
Ice Cream Man doesn't have anything to do with this.
Well, I watched Robbie, and Robbie said that there were parallels. I'm just saying.
Maybe thematically, yeah, but
that's what I'm
saying. Yeah. I can tell you exactly what it is. Haha is a story about how life being good and bad is all based on your perception of life. If you think that the world is shitty, then it's a good chance you're going to live a shitty life because that's the way you view the world. And if you have a happier outlook on life and make the effort to see the good in the world, you will probably have a better life. That's what Haha was about. I think it was poorly executed through the first 5.5 issues and done okay in the last half of the last issue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then our last book is The Lot from Bad Idea.
This one was a legitimate bad idea.
No shit. I mean, whoa. Hold on. Let me pump the brakes. Pump.
Okay.
I like the idea of what they were trying to do in this book, or what they're trying to do, which is there's this haunted film lot. Why is it haunted? And it's been closed for 50 years, and that's why. The problem with this book is the execution. It is... I have never read a book that has been so we're jumping. We've read books where there's like literally three stories going on in one book, but you can generally connect the dots in those books. There's one story happening in this book, and it is all over the place. You get into one scene, like the beginning of the book is a very shocking moment, and you're like, whoa, let's figure it out, right? And then we jump 50 years, and it's like, huh? Right? And then we're going along with this character, and she's slowly finding out stuff about this haunted lot. And we're sticking into this idea that she's revitalizing this studio, this lot that's been abandoned for 50 years. And there's this massive buildup. She's finding dead bodies. She's finding all this weird shit. The people that hired her are pissed that she is renovating the lot, but they won't tell her why. And like basically saying like, even though on your contract it says we're going to hire you for 1 year, we're probably going to fire you before that because of what you did. And she's like, I'm saving people money, blah, blah, blah. And like, we're kind of building for this, like, okay, so what's going on? and then we cut to a writer that was associated with the lot 50 years ago, and he's being attacked by this like demon, and we don't know why. And I mean, I'm giving a very shitty like breakdown of the book. That's how it reads. Like, it's so discombobulated and so disconnected that I don't honestly know how to review this book because it's
I don't either.
So bad. Like, I thought the beginning was cool. I was like, ooh, this is actually making me feel very uncomfortable because something shitty, something haunted and demonic happened in this lot. And then we just jumble. It's just so jumbled, and I don't know if that's done on purpose or if the writing is just that bad.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure if there was a second issue to this or not because it was so rushed that it felt like, oh, we're just trying to wrap this up in one. And then the ending didn't make any sense, and so it's
doesn't
like, okay,
make any sense.
There's probably an issue 2, but I don't know. Turns out there is an issue 2, but like, still, I was just like, wait,
well,
what's happening?
we bought it, so we're gonna see. But
yeah, we've already bought it, so we'll see.
I don't see the lot making it out of honorable mentions anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a 3-issue mini, so whatever. We'll get there.
Also, the artwork is, I think, it's good in the really disturbing parts of the book, and then it's really awkward in the very slow parts of the book. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's almost too realistic in the boring parts of the book. No, like there are expressions that I'm like, that looks like a photo. That literally looks like somebody like photoshopped a photo in there. And it made me feel very uneasy, and I don't think it was meant to be that way. But I will say the beginning of this book, like literally the first 4 pages, had me. I was like, whoa, that's fucking weird, right? And I was reading it at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, something behind me, right? But then we got into the beef of the book, and I was like, yeah. So that is our last book for the night in our honorable mentions.
Yep.
Sorry, this week was just meh. It was just kind of blah. There wasn't really a lot. I mean, I loved Silver Coin. I love the fact that you picked Excalibur as your pick of the week. I thought they were both probably the 2 strongest books this week, but this week was definitely flat. Like, it was just not. There wasn't any oh shit moments this week, and that's kind of disappointing. So, that's it, guys. So thanks again for everybody in the chat that's watching. If you're watching this as a past episode, make sure again to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We appreciate every one of you that is watching this live and as a back issue. We appreciate it. And be on the lookout for our next comic book haul video. I swear to God, I promise you, I will get Marvel's September solicitations out at some point. I just keep on, I've got other stuff I'm working on, obviously my main job, and so I just kind of like get home and I'm like, ugh. So
what? Do you think you have a full-time job and 2 kids at home? What? I mean,
anyway. We'll see you guys later. We appreciate again everybody that was here in chat. And as always, read more comics. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Later.